Yes, I know I was muted. I was mumbling to myself trying to get stuff ready. Alrighty, there we go. I can actually change this a little bit here. Don't mind me, I'm just adjusting where stuff is kind of sitting on my... a little bit. There we are. Excellent. Yes. Yes, there we are. Very good, very good. Alrighty. Hello, greetings, salutations. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Hello, Nano. Hello, Saf. Hope you guys are doing well. Doing well, I hope. So, we are going to finally get around to something that I have been meaning to do for a very long time. I have attempted before in the past and not done it very well. Challenge, I want you to DM me something to make Nano suffer later, of course. Sure, you specify the parameters and I will make your players, whoever they are, whether they are Nano or otherwise, suffer. Suffer is not the right word. Impose the demand of greatness upon them. I prefer that statement. Demand greatness? I like demand greatness. Also, this music is not nearly quiet enough. There we go. We're gonna turn this up just a little bit. There we go. Much better. Alrighty. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. So, I have attempted to do this a number of times in the past, where I have attempted to rebuild the Artificer in a way that makes more sense. Mostly this was around the time when usually around when it wasn't actually finished yet and things of that nature. But I like the Artificer now. The problem I've had with the Artificer, and this is the problem that does not go away, is the simple fact of the Artificer does not have one thing and one thing only, and that is proper use of a crafting system. Because 5th edition doesn't really have one. Now, seeing as I have one, we're going to rebuild the Artificer in a way that makes them actually a craftsman rather than having crafting stuff sometimes. And I just impose my will to be something to be powerful. Now you said you don't really like Oswald as a DPS, but like I've been doing really well since his inherent ability and the buff him since Agia just outspeeds everyone. He's pretty easy to set up, to be honest. It's not that he isn't a bad DPS. It's just that he's not the same kind. He's a third tier DPS because he requires less of a setup, like you said, from the melee units, such as Hakari and Throne. The other reason that I don't like Oswald as much is because the reason that I prefer, if I'm going to be doing setup, I'm not going to do the setup for Oswald, I'm going to do setup for Temenos. Because Temenos is much, much, much more powerful for a similar setup. Come on, you back the black and tans. Okay. Alright, so back on topic. Hello, I'm having a good day. Good. Well, I haven't reached the stage of Thanos yet. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, Oswald's a fine DPS, but that's just it. He's a fine DPS. He's not, you know, like, endgame super combo reliant DPS. Which is ultimately the big problem I have with him. Whereas other members are. I find that you have to pair him with Throne in order to really get the maximum potential out of a DPS out of a party. Whereas you can kind of rely on Hikari to just carry all the DPS you'll ever need. So, we're going to get into the actual thing that I've been working on this a little bit on the side in the background at work with a Google Doc. Now, unless otherwise noted for the time being, everything about the Artificer remains the same. Alright, so we have a few things to look at and adjust for. So, we have the following. So the first thing, of course, is that we are going to be, essentially the two big things that we're going to be changing with the Artificer is we are going to be scrapping the way that infusions work, and we're going to be altering the spell casting in due course to go along with that. Essentially, we are trading off infusions to be spell casting abilities by their nature. This is going to bring the Artificer more into a buffing kind of category, a buffing / debuffing kind of category, as opposed to a, let's just say, a better Eldritch Knight. And then we're going to swap a few things around to make them work a little bit better as actual craftsmen to make up for the fact that they won't have the 5th edition version of infusions. Is essentially most of what we are changing. The archetypes for the most part are going to remain mostly the same. There will be some minor alterations to some of them because of their spells. Their spells are going to be swapped out for infusions. And many of the infusions are going to be very similar or emulating spells that already exist. However, not all of them will be the such. Alright, let's see here. I need to rewrite this, but we're just going to put this down in here for now. Alright, so let's just get started here. I'm going to read a few things off of what I've already kind of designed before this, and then we'll get into exactly how I'm changing things and what I'm changing and what I'm providing for players. So, the Artificer is a class built around the idea of a master craftsman, which is also a capable adventurer. While the current version of the Artificer does achieve this in some regard, it suffers from the inability to truly create magical items. Much of this is from the shortcomings of the lack of a crafting system for 5th edition. The Artificer, in turn, had to be adapted in ways to accommodate this. This version of the Artificer will require a measurable crafting system. While it is tailored to my own, or will be tailored to my own, the rules will be written in such a way that if you wish to use a different one, you'll be able with little to no changes. That is the goal of this creation. And of course, unless otherwise noted, everything about the Artificer remains the same. So, starting with all the main stuff, which is the hit points, the multi-classing, the starting equipment, Hit points, are proficiencies, and starting equipment and multiclassing rules are going to all remain the same. None of that is changing. I don't see a reason to change any of that. Them having light, medium armor, shields, as well as 2 skills, a tool proficiency of their choice, along with thieves' tools, tinker's tools, simple weapons, had D8 for hit dice. I think everything in there is perfectly fine the way it is. I see no reason to change any of it. The con and intelligence, saving throw proficiencies, all of that makes excellent sense. I am more than pleased with that as a design. Now, very first thing we have in here is, of course, the firearms options. This is a setting-dependent thing. I'm not going to be dealing with that. That is a conversation for your DM, not for me. All right. Now we have magical tinkering. Magical tinkering is essentially a variation of the prestidigitation spell. I see no reason to change this. We can leave this as is. Alright, first thing that feature that these guys get is spell casting. Like, first real feature they get is spell casting. So, they are intelligence-based spellcasters. They have cantrips. They have prepared spellcasting. They have number of spells known, or how does it work? They are prepared casters. Yes, so you get the entire Artificer spell list. This is, I think, fine. You get the entire infusion spell list. So first things first, we are going to tools required for spellcasting. Alright, an Artificer uses magic in a different way than a traditional spellcaster. They create temporary magical etchings called infusions to an object. This can be applied to a non-magical weapon, armor, or object. Any equipment that has an infusion applies it to the creature that it has it equipped. Consult the infusion list at the end of this document that replaces the spell list for the Artificer. So, for all intents and purposes, we will be replacing spell, the big pile of things, and, you know, all that. A certain someone? You, sir, are going to receive a block. Go away, bot. Alrighty. Now then. So, first things first. We can then, we can actually address, so this is part of the spells, infusions prepared list. So let's see here. First things first is tools required. Okay. So, tools required is pretty much the same. I still need that. Tools required. Remains the same. Next we have cantrips and 0-level spells. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. Because Artificers are magical tinkerers, not warriors. So the question then becomes, do we give them cantrips to use? And I don't see a problem with them using cantrips. It's just that I think that because of the way that their infusions will work, they very well may favor weaponry otherwise, or buffing their allies. So I think them having cantrip casting is fine. Especially when you consider that cantrip casting is an option for all the other two half casters as well. So I think this is fine as is. So, how did they phrase this? It's just cantrips. Spells. And then I believe this stays the same. Okay. Preparing and casting. Here we go. Preparing and casting infusions. Alrighty. We're going to start by just copying this entire thing from preparing the spell casting. And then we're going to make alterations to it. Okay. The Artificer table shows how many infusions... How many infusion slots you have to cast your Artificer infusions. Your Artificer infusions. To cast one of your Artificer infusions of first level or higher... Infusions of first level higher, you must expend a slot of the infusion's level or higher. Level or higher, you regain all expended slots. Well, Chet now has a bow attack on all enemies ×2. Let the fun begin. Yeah. Chet is pretty damn good. She's very useful at any stage of the game, and she does a lot of different things where she fits into most parties. Unfortunately, as the game progresses, I find that her damage becomes less and less useful, and her ability to literally break anything on the table becomes way more valuable. Because if you have the right setups with like the right monsters in your pocket, you can break like everything all the time so easily. When you finish a long rest, you prepare the list of Artificer infusions. List of Artificer infusions that are available for you to cast, choosing from the Artificer infusion list. When you do so, choose a number of infusions equal to your intelligence modifier plus half your Artificer level, rounded down. Minimum of one. The infusions must be of level which you have the slots. You have the infusion slots. Simple, easy, elegant, fantastic. For example, if you're a 5th level Artificer, you have 4 first level and 2 second level infusion slots. infusion slots. With an intelligence of 14, the list of prepared infusions can include 4 infusions of the first and second variety. Of the first or second variety in any combination if you prepare first level. Alright, we need to change this. Reaper, you are not new here. Prepare the first level you can cast it using a first or second level slot. Casting the infusion oh my gosh. Nano, not you two. Doesn't remove it from your list. Doesn't remove of it prepared infusions. How y'all doing? I'm doing well, Reaper. Thank you for asking. We are rebuilding my favorite class to make it more of an actual craftsman as opposed to a modified craftsman. List of prepared infusions. When you finish a long rest, preparing a new set of Artificer infusions requires time spent tinkering with your tools. At least 1 minute per spell per infusion level for each spell infusion on your list. Artificer always enticed me, but I never had a chance a character that fit. Think craftsman or merchant. Like that's the Artificer in 5th edition doesn't really feel like a craftsman. He kind of feels like a person who cheats with magic items. And this playlist is very short and is looping a lot because I'm already at the second play. I've almost done playing at the second go around. Try this set. This looks like it doesn't have any looping for like almost an hour. That's much better. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna make this one a little bit more about crafting stuff, like actually crafting stuff, as opposed to the current iteration of it, which is, hey, I turned this non-magical item into a magical item for so long as I'm awake. Or so long as I'm not dead, and when I die, it's no longer a magical item. It's like, that's not cool. It's neat, but where's the actual, like, crafting side of it? Also, this music is very loud. Much better. Alright. So, big thing. Alright. Consult the infusion list at the end of this document that replaces the list of spells for the Artificer. Alright. Spell casting ability and we got that already. Alright. magical ability. Alright, intelligence is your infusion casting. Is your ability for your Artificer infusions. You understand the theory behind magic allows you to wield these infusions with superior skill. With superior skill, you use your intelligence whenever an Artificer infusion refers to your spell casting ability. Just play the spell casting. Spellcasting ability refers to your spellcasting ability in is your spellcasting ability for the Artificer infusions when you're in just whenever it refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, your intelligence modifier when setting the save throw DC for your Artificer infusions. When making an attack roll with one. Spell save DC is still this, and so is spell attack modifier. Those stay the same. Ritual casting, you can prepare. I'm gonna leave this here for now. What happened? I had to do something. Nothing much, just addressing how infusions work with the Artificer. The Artificer's, the way that I'm building it is I'm getting rid of spellcasting and replacing it with infusions. Basically, infusions are going to be temporary buffs rather than long-term pseudo magic item creation. And then we're going to replace this pseudo magic item creation with the ability to actually make magic items instead. Because I don't like pseudo magic items. I think they're bad. I think it's a bad idea. It should be Artificers, like the way that Artificers used to work is they used to gain a pool of expendable XP, so it didn't count towards their actual XP when they crafted magical items. So they could actually just make magical items better and with lower costs than everybody else. So to make up for the lack of extra gear that they are able to supply their teammates with, we have active infusions. Alright, so all infusions require you to concentrate to keep them active. However, they are much less demanding of than typical magic. As a result, you can have multiple active at the same time. The number of infusions active at a time based on your level, which is going to be part of the table. Should you cast another infusion on an item, the least recent one fades during the new one's casting. So essentially, the Artificer is going to be able to have multi-buffs up at a time. Now, there's a few other things here. Anytime you are considered the consent alright. Whenever you would be subject to a concentration check, only one check. You make only one check. One check, no matter how many. You make only one check, no matter the number of infusions you have active. Failing the concentration check causes all of the active infusions, to fade. So you can have a lot of infusions going and then just lose them all. So it's kind of like where the risk reward kind of comes in. Having high con as an artificer is actually going to be very, very important, because you could have 3, 4, 5 buffs as the game progresses at much later points. And actually, I'm going to change this. You can have a number of infusions active at a time equal to your proficiency bonus.
My kiss.
Over to, what do you want? Oh, okay, bye-bye. Much of this is going to be dependent on us setting up infusions to be good buffs, but not ridiculous buffs. They're going to be a little bit, and we're going to look at the list of infusions that Artificers already have access to, and we're definitely going to say, okay, what level of infusion is this going to be? When do they have access to this? And so on. Okay. Both of these are at first level. Ah, I got something in my eye. There we go. We're gonna do this first. First level. And then we also have... Well, everything up to this point is first level. First level. All that is stays inside that. Okay. So, second level, they normally get their item infusing. This is where we get to the other side of this mess, which is we need to give them something for second level. Now, what exactly that's going to be, who knows? I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. Alright. We can make right tool for the job a thing that you can learn at second level, I think. But otherwise... second level... as it stands, second level doesn't really have anything because we are replacing infusions as your spellcasting thing, and we need to give them something at second level to replace it. I don't know what exactly. perhaps we can give them a means of collecting magical items or magical materials. Actually, I know exactly what we're gonna do. Right. I need to come up with a name for this. Finding materials. Finding materials. Oops. To create a work of art. Create a work of art, even if that. To create a work of art can be difficult. Can be difficult. Time consuming. Time consuming and expensive. Time consuming and expensive. Starting at second level. When you search town, a town or city. When you search a town or city for a supply of materials, magical or mundane, mundane, it is much easier. It is 30%, 50% is 50% easier for you to do so. DM note. If you do not use finding chances, finding probabilities, I'll put that at the end. It's 50% easier to do so. Basically, the idea here is that it's either cheaper or less time consuming, or you are more likely to find the thing. There's three ways that you can kind of do this, and it's kind of left open-ended for that purpose. Oh my. Breathing is difficult, apparently. Let's see here. Third level. We have right tool for the job, and we have artificer specialists. That can stay basically the same. I see no reason in changing those. In the slightest, honestly. Next we have ability score improvement. That is fine. Artificer Specialist feature that is again that is a thing that is a subtype that we can leave that as is. And we get all the way to 6, which is Tool Expertise. Tool Expertise can stay the same. Flash of Genius, of course, can also stay the same. Ability Score Improvement, that is fine. Artificer Special Feature is, again, going to be kept at the same. Magical Adept, all the way to level 10. Which we have Magic Item Adept. Luna! Stay out of the kitchen! Damn dog. Alright, we have Magic Item Adept. I have no fucking clue what to play. Right now, or in general, or... Like, what do you mean? Me every night? Yeah, I feel this. Alright. Let's see here. Magic Item Adept. You have achieved a profound understanding of how to use magic and make magic items. You can attempt to attune up to 4 magic items at once. If you craft an item with a rarity of common or uncommon, it takes you a quarter of the normal amount of time and costs you half as much as the usual gold. This needs to change. So, Magical Item Adept. So this needs to stay mostly the same. Tenth level Artificer feature. So this is fine. Alright, this needs to change. So, if you craft an item with a rarity of common or uncommon, it takes you a quarter of the normal amount of time, and it costs you half as much as the usual gold. This is fine. For the most part, this needs to change. Of tier 1 or 2. They're not... No. Well, you almost always have them, so... Tier 1 and Tier 2 get you all the way up to level 8. You can craft Tier 3 items at this point. It takes you a quarter of the normal amount of time, and it costs you half as much as the usual gold. We're going to change this to half. To half the normal amount of time, and it costs you half as much gold of the usual gold. This is only going to be applied if you are looking for gold. This is going to be one of those things where I'm going to have a small amount of change to it, where if you don't use gold to craft an item, which most of the time you don't use gold, you use a object, then it's easier to find the item. It costing less gold is not that big of a deal ultimately, because the main thing about crafting is having the material. Now you can use gold to substitute, but you need to be able to find the material to do that. And of course, not all items are always going to be made equally. Alright. Now we have spell storing item. Now I think this is a cool item. You can now store a spell into an object. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one simple or martial weapon or item that you used as a spell casting focus, and you store a spell in it. Using first or second level spells from the Artificer spell list that require an action to cast, you need to have it prepared. While holding the object, your creature can take an action to produce the spell effect from it. While the spellcaster's ability modifier, the spell requires concentration, and the creature must be concentrating the spell stays in the object until it's equal to twice your intelligence modifier, or until you use this feature again to store a spell in an object. This, I think, is fine. However, I think that this needs to be changed to a not Artificer spell list, but just from any spell list. I think is fine. I don't see a reason for this to be so limited, especially when we've limited the number of things that the list of stuff is that a Artificer could do has been limited in a number of ways. You can now store a spell in the object when you finish a long rest. You can touch one symbol or martial weapon or an item that uses spellcasting focus and store a spell in it, choosing a first or second level spell from any spell list. That requires one action to cast. That requires one action to cast. While holding the object, a creature can take actions to produce the spell effects. Creature must concentrate. The spell stays in the object until it becomes. I don't see a reason to. I feel it's better if we open this up to any spell that's out there. I think is a little bit better. Having access to first or second level spells and being able to just cast them is really, really good. And yeah. And it uses your spellcasting ability modifier. Does that mean that you can have that you could have something like, Scorching Ray in this item? Absolutely. I don't see a problem with this. Most of the things that you can already do most of the good spells that you would want to have on this are already available. I can't think of anything in particular that would really break this, especially when you consider that it must require one action to cast. So that gets rid of a lot of these potential problem spells. Including but not limited to something like Silvery Barbs. That doesn't allow it. It's basically you are creating a spell wand of some kind. Creating a temporary spell wand, I think, is fine. This is kind of like the thing that makes you special. This is where the flexibility comes in, which I'm okay with having a temporary spell item like this. Magic Item Savant. Which is, of course, you attune up to 5 and ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements on attuning to using magical items. I think this is fine. 15 is spellcasting ability, is a subclass ability. 16 is ability on it. Magic Item Master, you can now attune up to six items. 19, your ability score improvement, and Soul the Artificer, you gain +1 bonus to all saving throws per magic item you are currently attuned to. You're reduced to 0 hit points, but not killed outright. You can use your reaction to end one of the Artificer infusions, causing you to drop to 1 hit point instead. We are going to actually change this a little bit. It's a little bit less good because that's because, this is kind of insane. All right. All right. Per currently attuned to. If you are reduced to 0 hit points but not killed, you can use your reaction to unattune to one of your attuned items. One of your attuned items. To one of your magic items, causing you to drop to 0 hit points instead. You cannot become unattuned to a item that would not allow you to normally become attuned to it. You cannot become unattuned to an item that would normally not allow you to become unattuned to it. Such as a cursed item. Such as a cursed magic item. There we go. So, for the most part, the Artificer does stay the same. There's a few small changes. The big one is being the infusions list being replaced. Now, we are going to be altering a great many of these things. So, for the most part, this is just changing the spell casting around. Infusion list. So we have first, level, second level, third level, fourth level, and fifth level. Alright, so this is essentially the big thing that we need to do is we need to deal with the spell casting that they are going to be lacking. So, we are going to go to the list of infusions that is available to the Artificer. And we're going to start by sorting them by level. Alright, and we're going to start with, we're going to try and stay away from, like, specific things too much, but we're going to do a few things. We're going to go through the entirety of all the infusions that they have, which isn't actually a particularly long list, and then we're going to go from there. Alright, so Armor of Magical Strength has 6 charges while it can do one of the following things. When the wearer makes a strength check, a strength save, though, they get expended 1 charge to add a bonus to roll equal to the intelligence modifier. If the creature would be knocked prone, it can use its reaction to expend 1 charge to avoid being knocked prone. Regains 1d6 charges at dawn. So, we can do something like this. We can do... Let's see here, actually. I'm going to do something here. Alrighty, let's see here. Let's go with the basic list. So let's just start with what 3.5 gives us and see what we can apply and make good here. So we have armor enchantment. Armor enchantment, which provides a +1 AC. +1 AC armor. Alright, this is the quick one. Armor or shield gains +1 ability with bonus market price modifier. So, what this means is so armor enchantment lesser, which is armor or shield gains special plus ability with +1 bonus market price modifier. So, this is something that we have to actually think about here, which is if we go into the +1 effect. So this is where we get into the weird list of things. Alright, so +1 effect. I will get into what that is supposed to be later. We have energy. We can go resist. Element. Gain. Resistance to fire. Fire. Cold. To acid, cold, fire. Acid, cold, fire. What was the last major element that lightning? Resist element. Gain resistance to acid, fire, cold, fire, or lightning. Magic shield enchants bonus to shield best attacks or applies to 2-weapon defense. Identify. We'll add identify. Inflict light damage. That's to constructs. Weapon enchantment. +1. Target item. Is identified. Target item is identified. We have light. I think light is a cantrip now. Yeah, light is now a cantrip, so this doesn't apply. Magic stone is also a cantrip now. Magic vestments. Armor or shield gains +1 or better enchantment bonus. So that's basically it. Weapon, magic weapon. Repair light damage. They can heal constructs. Alrighty, we're gonna have restore. Yes, dear? Yeah, why? Okay. Uh, Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith as spell. Identify is as spell. Let's see here. Skill enchantment, spell storing item, and then weapon augmentation. Alright. So, that's what we have as first level infusions that are kind of mostly being provided to us by 3.5. As second level, we have okay. Let's see here. Weapon enchantment and armor enchantment are basically the equivalent of something that you can scale upwards. So you can cast these as a third level or fifth level for the... so we'll do something here. +2 as third level. Slot +3 as fifth level slot. There we go, and that way we have those have inherent scaling, which are appropriate to them. Skill enhancement. As spell. Let's see here. Heat metal. Heat metal as spell. We're also going to add chill metal. Well, yeah, we can keep chill metal as heat metal. But cold. Inflict moderate damage is whatever. Toughen construct, repair moderate damage, weapon augmentation lesser. These are all kind of whatever. We can look at the spell list and see what that does from there. Alright. Now, let's see here. For third, we have weapon, we have armor augmentation, energy ward, which is just resistance, inflict serious damage, magical weapon greater, which is what we already have here. Meta magic item. Meta. We can actually do a series with 3rd level slots, which is meta magic. Meta magic. Meta magic empowerment. Meta magic focus. Make an item. Oh, I'll be making my item. Grant. Limited. Meta magic. Oops. Feature. Grant limited meta magic for 1 spell. Grant limited meta magic for a spell cast. There we go. I actually really like this one, Power Surge. Give an item temporary charges, which is actually a really cool idea. Basically, you look at a magic item and say, all right, you're gonna eat some of my magic and give me a bunch of charges for it. So having a magic item that you can just say, like a wand of magic missiles, just like, okay, I'm gonna give it a bunch of charges. Repair serious damage, stone construct, suppress requirement. Functions its fullest potential, no longer carries that requirement. Okay. I actually kind of like this as a spell, not gonna lie. But what level do they automatically gain this? So, Artificers inherently gain 3rd level casting at what level? They get 3rd level spell casting at level 3. Or at level 3. 3rd level spellcasting at level 9. You get the ability to ignore that aspect of magical items, and you get the ability to ignore it at level 14. So in 5 levels. But for 5 levels, you could spend a spell and get it early. Or spend a slot and get it early. Or you can do something else, which is you can expend that so that a different team member can have that same effect. So I actually kind of like this. Suppress. Requirement. Suppress. For class feature, for class, race, or alignment. Class, race, level. What is it? Class, race, level. All class, race, spell, and level requirements on a tuning or using a magic item. Let's do it this way. And level requirements on a tuning or using a magic item. There we go. Alright, let's see here. Construction, energy, ward. Globe of Invulnerability. Stops 1 through 3rd level effects. Inflict critical damage. Item alteration. Hold on here. Item alteration. Item that provides a certain type of bonus provides a different type of bonus to the same value or in a roll. I don't see a reason for that one. Item construct gains iron construct. Minor creation. Create 1 cloth or wood object. I mean, fabricate is, I believe, a level 5 spell, so there's no reason to worry about that. Repair critical damage. Rusting grass. Your touch corrodes an iron alloy. Corrodes iron and alloys. Okay. That's cool. Shield of Faith Mass. Yep, I'm making that a thing. Mass Shield of Faith. A spell. Multi-target. That's fucking funny. But what's funny? A spell multi-target. It's just like everybody gets Shield of Faith. I don't know why they don't have. Yeah, like this is at 4th level. So this, I believe, the Artificer gets 4th level magic at level 13. Like at level 13, +2 to everyone on the party. It's like, listen, if you're gonna spend your 4th level slot on that, it's like, that's pretty cool. Okay. Disrupting weapon. Alright, disrupting weapon. Weapon destroys undead. That's obviously the short version of it. It is something very, very specific. I'm probably going to actually change that get rid of that, actually. And just make it more of a Bane thing. Fabricate. Fabricate, which is as spell. Oh. Wall of Force, Wall of Stone. I'm just going to go into the spell list and then give them spells from their spell list, and that'll probably deal with that. Blade Barrier, Disable Construct, Globe of Invulnerability, Hardening, Move Earth, Total Repair, Wall of Iron, Weapon Augmentation of Greater. Okay. So they don't have a particularly huge list of things that they can do. But here's the by the sound of things. But one of the things that's very important is they can also do something which is the enhancement slot. This is going to be really, really big for levels 1, 3, and 5 because those aren't just +1s. We can also go through all the different +1, +2, and +3, +4, and +5 effects of previous editions and start applying them to spell ideas. So the first thing we're going to do, though, before we do that, is we're going to do this other thing, which is we're going to close both of those. We're going to go to the Artificer spell list. And then we're going to go Artificer only. Alright, and then we're going to sort by level. And of course we need to put in cantrips. I don't see a reason for us to change the list of spells that they have from the cantrip list. That should pretty much remain the same, in my humble opinion. So first level, they have, for spells that are of first level, they have absorb elements. That's in resist elements. We're just going to change that to, but because it's very much more specific. But absorb elements is a reaction. We're not going to make it absorb elements because absorb elements is better as a reaction. So we're going to use resist elements instead. They have the alarm spell. We're going to keep that. We can keep that in there. Catapult. We'll have impact. We'll have. I think catapult is fine. Keep that in there. Because they're enchanting an item. I can't leave them dead in the water either, but you know, cure wounds. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of not putting catapult because the idea is that they don't have blasting spells. Heal. Cure wounds. They can have cure wounds. I'm going to give them cure wounds as spell. Detect magic. Let's see here. Disguise self. Expeditious retreat. Expeditious retreat is actually fine. These are all things that they apply that you apply to a object as spell. Fairy fire, no. False life, yes. Alright, false life as spell. Featherfall, no. Grease, no. Identify, yep. Jump. Long Strider. Purify food and drink, no. Sanctuary, yes. Honestly, this is actually going to be looking like a much less of a change than I had originally expected. But we'll see. Snare, no. Tasha's Caustic Brew, no. So these are all one thing. These are all something very specific, and that is these are all things that you can attach to an item. Now, you could make the argument of something like you can attach this effect to an object and create catapults. A catapult should be like an obvious Artificer spell. Sure, but I'm reflavoring them to not really be able to fight without a weapon or without cantrips. They are more of the buffers. They buff their team, and they buff their team a lot. Second level, we have Aid, Air Bubble. What does Air Bubble do? Alright. Weapon enchantment. I don't know why Artificers don't get Shield of Faith by default. They really should. That seems like an oversight to me. HI. RS. And then Armor Enchantment. This is a pretty decent list right here on its own. Alright, second level. Let's see here. Let's see here. Alter Self. No. Arcane Lock. No. Yes. Well, Arcane Lock, it would be temporary, but yes. Alright, Arcane Lock as spell. Blur. As spell. Continual Flame. Dark Vision. What? Oh, I'm missing the N. Okay. Continual Flame. Enhance ability. We already have that in there. If it's not, it should be. That's weird. I thought for sure I put this in here. Enhance ability. It is 2 words. As spell. Enlarge, reduce. As spell. Eat metal. Invisibility. Which is as the spell. Kinetic Jaunt. I am unfamiliar with this. What is this from? Strixhaven. Let's see here. Power to do the dance-like steps gives you the ability to follow benefits of your for the duration. Your walking speed increases by 10 feet. You don't provoke opportunity attacks. You can move through spaces of a creature that doesn't count as terrain. If you end your turn in our creature space, you are shunted to the last occupied space that you occupied, dealing 1d8 force damage. Lesser Restoration. I'm half tempted to take Cure Wounds away from this class, not gonna lie. And make it a, specifically bonus spells for the archetype. In either case... Oh, I have skill enhancement. That's why. I was like, why is that... What? Okay. So Levitate. As spell. We already have magic weapon. Protection from poison. From poison. It's supposed to be from, not for. Alright. Pyrotechnics, no. Rope trick, no. Sea invisibility. Skywrite, no. Spider climb, yes. Vortex warp. What the heck is vortex warp? Another Strixhaven thing. Chosen space must be on a surface or a liquid that can support the material without being squeezed. Spider climb. As spell. And no web. Alright. Third level. Astronaut's Stride. Alright, when you move within 5 feet of a creature or for the duration, your speed increases by 20 feet, and moving doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. When you move within 5 feet of a creature or object that isn't being worn or carried, it takes 1d6 fire damage from your trail of heat. Your object takes this damage only once during its turn. I like this, actually. Oh boy. Astronaut's Stride are as spell. That is a really cool spell, actually. Do I think it's worth a 3rd level slot? Generally speaking, no. But because it's casting time as a bonus action, this does let you cast it on yourself and then dash. So you can get from where you need to go to where you need to go very efficiently. Blink. Add spell. Catnap, useless. Create food and water, no. Dispel magic, yes. Very, very good. Elemental weapon. I feel like this needs to this is not appropriately strong for a 3rd level. If you cast with a 5th, it's a +2 weapon and deals 2d4. And when you cast with a 7th or higher, it's a +3 weapon with 3d4. That's no. We're gonna change that. Probably. Elemental empowerment. Elemental weapon. D8. Elemental damage. We're gonna alter that spell. This spell, no. I think I get what they're trying to go for here because it's basically +2 to 5 damage, 4 to 10 damage, and then +6 to 15 damage, based off per attack on certain spells, or per attack, and it's a concentration 1 hour, so you can get a lot of mileage out of it. But I think that this is way too tempered. Flame arrows, no. Fly, yes. Glyph of Warding, which I believe is the explosive ruin. Yes. Alright, Glyph of Warding. Haste, of course. Intellect Fortress. Oh. You know what? I'm just gonna struggle to do that one too much. Linked glyphs. What is this from? This is from the Verdant Tomb, Adventures in Forgotten Realms. Jeez, no, we're not. Protection from energy. Refrigeration, a willing creature you touch has resistance to 1 damage type of your choice. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. I should actually add thunder to this. Protection from energy. This is basically a longer duration of the spell. As spell. Revivify. No. The same reason why I'm getting rid of Lesser Restoration, and I'm actually going to axe Cure Wounds. If you want to have the healing, you make healing items because you're better at it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm kind of looking here at it. I'm just like, we'll see about this. Tiny servant. No, water breathing. Water walk. As spell. Okay. Now for fourth. This is where we get into the small list. So we have Arcane Eye. No. Elemental Bane. Let's see here. Afflicted by a spell for the duration. First time each turn the creature takes damage of the chosen type. The target takes an extra 2d6 damage of that type. More of the target. It's aim resistance to the energy type. Elemental Bane. No, because that is a debuff. Which we specifically do not deal in debuffs. Fabricate, which I believe is apparently a 4th level spell, so we're actually going to get this out of there and put it in here. Freedom of movement. Secret chest. No. Faithful Hounds, no. Private Sanctuary, no. Resilient Sphere, no. Stone Shape, so other than medium size or small, use line as well. No. Stone Skin, yes. Summon Construct. I'm gonna change that to, well, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. And then, of course, in the 5th level slots that they have animate objects, as spell. We have Big B's Hand, create Spell Jam Helm. Holding a rod uses the casting of the spell. Using the casting of the spell, you touch a large or similar or smaller chair that is unoccupied. The rod disappears and the chair is transformed into Spell Jamming Helmet. The Spell Jamming Helm. I believe the Spell Jamming Helm is specifically a ship. Yep, steer the vessel. Creation. Greater Restoration Skill Empowerment. Transmute Rock. No, and Wall of Stone. So, this is where things get kinda interesting. There's a lot of first, second, and third oriented effects, but fourth and fifth, the list becomes very, very small. Also, I don't like animate objects because that's a damage spell, actually. While stone is also not a target spell ability. Stone Skin, Mass Shield of Faith, Freedom of Movement, and Fabricate are all buffs. So, this is where we get into the conundrum of what do we want to do for fourth and fifth. And this is then where we go back to oh, apparently I can't go back that far. Okay. We're going to go back to the classes. We're going to go back to the Artificer here. And inside of the Artificer, we're going to go back to the Infusions list. We're going to sort by level again, starting with the at the absolute top and working our way back down. So we have Arcane Propulsion Armor. Again, this is like an armor-specific effect. I'm debating if I want to just make it so that the Artificer works the same, but you have to cast things on objects and then use the objects. Man. Excuse me. My brain is just slowing down way too much. I can't be up this late anymore for streaming. It's just too late, especially after a long day of work. So that's where we're gonna kind of leave it for now. I think it is 11 o'clock. I only went out for 2 hours. I was hoping to go for a little longer, but this is all I'm gonna be able to get. So, big thing here is that rather than casting spells, kind of like how the Artificer has in the past with a lot of different varieties, it's gonna be a lot more of them casting spells on items that people have in their possession, and then they receive buffs as a result. It's going to be very, very heavily built around buffs as opposed to a traditional spell list where they have objects at their disposal. I'm going to try and go through and just see if I can get like a lot of different buff-oriented things. The problem with 5th edition is a lot of abilities and things like that are not just straight stat buffs. They are like situational abilities that give you specific bonuses. Now, something that makes me feel a little better about taking away the infused items is that it doesn't actually take away as much. Yeah, like them being a straight buff caster, I think is a good idea. What we're probably going to do is I'm probably just going to scour all of the buff spells, all the target spells that buff creatures, and just put them into a giant list and just leave it at that. And then just add my own ideas at the end here. So like the weapon enchantment is replacing magic weapon. Same thing with armor enchantment. And you get a first level infusion. It's going to be a +1, a +2 at third, and a +3 at fifth. Because I think that the magic weapon spell is actually a level too late. It should actually be coming in a level earlier for each bonus effect. But we'll go through it all. I'm going to go through it all and add all these, and then add a handful of spells that I think would probably be befitting them. And then try to make the archetype spells a little bit more, like, very, very tailored to what they have, and kind of have them reach out past what their inherent spell list is. So, for example, the first thing that comes to my mind is, of course, something like the Artillerist, which I believe the bonus spells that they get as an Artillerist is Shield, Thunder Wave, Scorching Ray, Shatter, Fireball, Wind Wall, Ice Storm, Wall of Fire, Cone of Cold, and Wall of Force. It's like, okay, it's like you learn to use magic. It's like you build a device that can cast these spells for you. But those are your signature spells and abilities. It still requires your attunement, but that's, you know, kind of fine. Personally, I think the Artillerist is the weirdest version of this because the Armorer, the Alchemist, and the Battlesmith all build stuff, and it just stays like that, where the Artillerist summons, for some reason, summons turrets. So I think it's a little bit weird. The Alchemist specifically, I believe they get Healing Word, Ray of Sickness, Flaming Sphere, Melf's Acid Arrow, Gaseous Form, Mass Healing Word, Blight, Death Ward, Cloud Kill, and Raise Dead. But it's an alchemist. They make they make potions and things like that. The Armorer, they have an they basically have power armor. But they built themselves a suit of power armor. The Battlesmith built themselves a Clockwork Companion, also known as the Steel Defender. They all built themselves something. The Artillerist doesn't have that. I guess they built themselves a gun or an Eldritch Cannon, which they can hold on to. I might modify it so that you can't summon it. It has 3 modes or something like that. But otherwise, yeah, they stay mostly the same. And they gain, in their Eldritch Invocations, they can utilize Eldritch Invocations well. Their Artificer archetypes, they can get very specific items that they do, and they can cast the magics that way. But I might also just take away the fact that they get 2 and just give them 1. I don't know. I'm gonna figure all that out at another time because I need to go to bed. If I feel it is very late for me. It feels very late. So, Artificer who builds all of his weapons and stuff. Yeah, and that's kind of the goal. So, one of the things is it's been made very obvious that you can kind of do that in my setting, but you need to have tool proficiencies and stuff in order to be able to properly do it. The Artificer is going to be able to do that. Again, one of the things I'm kind of looking at is the actual infusions isn't really taking a whole lot away from the Artificer. It's just magic items that you can already buy or purchase. So by giving you access to things, to being able to make them easier and faster and more often, is gonna make it is gonna more than make up for that. Being able to I would say probably every 2 magic items that you would normally be able to buy, you can make a 3rd if you choose to make them. And you get to make the magic item you want rather than trying to hope that you find a magic item that you like. Yeah, and it's a lot more of a bargaining ability and you can do a lot more with it. So that is going to be it for this evening. Thank you very much, guys, for swinging by. I am very tired. I feel like I need to go to bed. So, thank you very much for swinging by. Appreciate it, as always. And until next time, guys, have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.